Hey guys, welcome to the first devlog after Fade's newest update. To those that are new, in this series we'll dive into design decisions and give you a behind the scenes look at the game and other changes I'm working on. Fade is a third-person action RPG hoping to combine the story building of Fable with the gameplay of classic Souls-likes, and it's all being made by one person, me. In this game, you are the chosen, an outsider who's arrived in the strange land of Baltaine to stop a sacrificial cult. On your journey, you'll have to collect weapons, handle side quests, take on powerful bosses, and stop them from sacrificing the entire continent with your gameplay. Now, before we dive into the changes, Fade's Patreon is finally back live and ready for new supporters, so if Fade looks like a game you want to see finished, or if you just want some behind-the-scenes info, join up. Additionally, Fade is heading to Kickstarter once more with a goal of $10,000. Links down below. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into some of the combat changes that people are going to see in this new update and also in the new demo. Now, to just start out with the fundamental changes, I changed character rotation to velocity direction by default. This means that if you move your stick in any of the 8 directions, you'll freely move towards that destination. This makes it easier to unlock and attack enemies out of view or off screen. It also makes it easy to maneuver in general. And while locked onto an enemy, you'll naturally face towards them. But if you sprint, it sets it back to velocity direction, so you can dodge attacks and maneuver easily. This is mainly for enemies that have ranged attacks that you need to maneuver out of the way of, or enemies in general that want to fight you in a way that makes it so you need more space. This will make it easier to fight larger enemies as well. In addition to base combat rotation changes, archery stance has been adjusted as well. Now, while your bow is equipped, after your first shot, the character faces forward based on the camera's view. This makes it easier to line up arrow shots on the controller or on keyboard. Additionally, this will make it easier to use archery skills once they're implemented in the next update. The last improvement to arrows is their placement tracking. They are now more accurate to the reticle and also spawn particle effects based on the surface they hit, be that enemies or different surfaces. This works both ways as an aesthetics change, is also just a general benefit to how it looks to give you a better idea of where you're shooting when you are setting up shots on enemies. The last major update to combat is stance breaking. When an enemy takes enough stagger damage, their stance is broken, creating an opportunity to backstab or front stab them. Originally, this could only take place by parrying. This will make it so even the biggest damage sponges still have to know their place when you're swinging at them. How frequently the enemies stagger depends on the weight and quality of your weapons. Now that we've tackled combat, let's move on to the new changes to Fade's world. I was heavily inspired to make an RPG growing up when I first played Fable and other games when I was younger. In Fade, we have our own take on demon doors, each of which was created by an old days sorcerer who had phobias of open spaces. As a result, he created a kind of magic to contain all of one's goods in separate pocket dimensions. Dayless doors are vaults created from their owner's mana to perfectly reflect their personality and goals. Each is guarded by a sentient golem. To open them, you may need to convince them you are their master, return from a long journey, prove that you have what it takes to be the replacement, find different memorabilia from their master, or change your equipment or raise your stats to match up to who they think is able to go inside their doors. Dayless doors act as an engine for players to get legendary weapons and equipment to modify and change the way they play the game.
Together we shall march to the throne. Together we shall be everlasting. Please be careful out there, Master. Your domain is safe under my guard.
With players getting access to Baltaine's downtown area and a lot of new spaces, new NPCs have been added as well as new dialogue options. I developed a quick conversation feature to quickly deliver small story beats or information about Fade's world, and then all you have to do to really access this is just walk up to different NPCs, and it'll display a notification letting you know that you can speak to that individual. Then just by pressing the interact button, you can go through short dialogue.
Best to be cautious out there. I was out in the field for years before they brought me to the cozy side of things. Drakes, wildlings, bloody trolls. Now we have these damn new abominations to worry about. Be careful out there. You hearing me?
For this next one, we'll be heading to the player's hub area. It's been fleshed out with new NPCs and dialogue options as well. By using the fast travel, I've added a new set of locations that you can basically acquire by finding the different aura mantles to teleport to this location. In addition to new dialogue options, players can now talk to NPCs in Beltane and use the gold they get from quests to buy goods to help on their journey. Now, only certain NPCs sell items at the moment, while a lot of others mainly will just give you dialogue options. Now, later on in future updates, you'll have the ability to sell your items as well, and then certain NPCs will only be able to buy specific types of items. So in this case here, you'll see that the shop does have a series of different items, and you might see the question mark icon as well. So over time, I'm just going to be adding in more weapon icons for the new things added in the game. This gives me the ability to add in new things without having to worry about the art assets being done yet, so you get access to them as well as, things get released in a more timely manner. In addition to the shop added to the Player's Hub, you can also head to the Old Raven Inn's blacksmith for upgrades to your basic weapons.
You must be the new Seeker. Vincent told us to make sure you felt welcome.
Most basic weapons from the tutorial take iron as an upgrade material that can be found by defeating enemies and looting chests. Different types of weapons require different materials, and the blacksmith's level matters as well. For example, Eldrin can only upgrade items to +5, and some future blacksmith you discover will be able to upgrade to +10. As for the last change to the Player's Hub, a prototype of the Aura Flask Mixer has been added. This will allow players to change how their potion functions based off of different great bosses they defeated in the demo. Currently there are only 2 available in the demo so far, so more to be added as the world expands. And if you pay for the game's current build, you do get access to 1 more boss, which will allow you to get a 3rd one, which is the one I'm using right now. The demo is getting new attention as well. This includes a new fleshed out tutorial, all of the previous stated gameplay improvements, and some balancing for the enemies in the tutorial areas. Players that complete the demo also get a few more cutscenes than they did prior after defeating the demo's boss, as well as the side boss.
Stray little lamb, how far you've traveled. You have a talent for ending up in places you're not wanted. You've got promise.
Lastly, more effort's gone into the cutscenes for the bosses in the demo, as well as some of the bosses have been added to the game. The boss has also been rebalanced to make sure that it's more effective at teaching you the mechanics of the game, as well as making it less likely to one-shot you in different situations. Now, I did leave that in for certain moves, mainly because it's meant to teach you to respect different enemies and their different movesets. This beam move he does still one-shot people, which I'm fine with, because, if you're spamming him and he goes to use the move, it's because he knows that you're hitting him a lot, and his assumption is you don't have enough stamina to dodge it. But if you, time everything properly and you space yourself out and make sure you have enough stamina, it shouldn't be a problem. With that being said, that concludes all the notable changes I can provide without directly spoiling anything. Those of you that have supported me from the start know the project's come a long way from how Fade used to look. We made a base build a long time ago using the little we did know about Unreal Engine, came close to winning a big game jam for $500,000, got press attention, got on IGN, tried Unreal Engine 5 when it came out, regretted that decision due to the performance issues, and then we decided to rebuild the game from scratch to avoid any kind of bugs so I have full control over the environment. After a lot of hard work, bashing my skull into my desk, and trying to figure out bugs and new features, we finally made it to a baseline point we can build off of. That's it for me. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and share. Follow the links in the description below to the Patreon support if you liked what you saw, and follow our project on Kickstarter so you get notified when it launches. Additionally, Fade's new demo and new update are out now, so head to Steam and give it a shot. Lastly, make sure to leave a comment if you have any questions. I read all of them, even the wild ones. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.